Next on The Critical Eye. What loopholes or what gray areas are you looking into as you go to vie for this position? Because already there is a women representative. Perhaps some areas that she has failed in that you want to point out and that you want to correct.
Actually, the incumbent has done a very good job. Honorable Rosa has built market dens in Nyakach, in Seme. I've seen like 4 of them. She's built marketplaces for our mothers who are selling fish. Now, that is a very good thing because it saves them from jua kali and all of that. What I would like to do when I get into this office, I want to bring fridge and coolers to extend the market life of fish.
Okay.
Because unapata fish ni kitu inaribika haraka. Yes, and people end up making a lot of losses.
So take me through scenario 2 in case you lose. What will you be doing to build up on your leadership mileage as a way? Perhaps if you lose today, you'll plan to vie in the future general elections. What will you be doing to build up on that?
The thing is, you don't really have to win to be able to create an impact in your society. Though if we win, then we have the influence needed to mobilize and lobby for resources from other organizations. Now, in the case that I lose, even though I'm telling you that we are not going to lose, in the case that I lose, I am going to work with whoever wins to make sure that the interest of the youth and the interest of the people of Kisumu County are still represented.
Today, the Critical Eye looks into Miss Valentine Otieno, the youngest women rep aspirant in Kisumu County, in Kenya, and probably in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this lady is the definition of the word all around, because she's confident, she's outgoing, she's smart, and she is the definition of a contemporary leader. So ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for a very interactive half hour, because this lady could be the 8th wonder of the world, and her energy is unmatched. And so, Valentine, welcome to the Critical Eye.
Thank you, Cliff, for having me. Thank you, Critical Eye, for this opportunity. And that is a very powerful description.
I hope it doesn't give you overconfidence.
No, not at all, not at all.
Okay.
If anything gives me confidence, it's the people of Kisumu County.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's go straight to business. I know people have been seeing you around, and perhaps some of them would like to ask some very critical questions about you. Who is Valentine Otieno? Some of them, they see you on screen and everything, and they hear you call yourself a girl toto, and they don't even know the origin of that name.
Yeah.
So perhaps you could take me through who Valentine Otieno is, and perhaps highlight why you chose that kind of a nickname, especially for someone vying for a political seat.
Well, Valentine Otieno is 22 years old. I am a graduate from the University of Nairobi. I have served in several leadership positions. Like in 2018, I was Miss University of Nairobi, and the year after that, I was a leader for WOSWA, which is a women students organization. So I was basically looking at the interest of women in campus. I am very young, that is true, and the reason why we are using a girl toto, it's not a name that I came up with. It's the name that my candidacy was exciting the internet, and so several people started calling me a girl toto. So we looked at it and said, why not? We can just go with the name, because yes.
So it's not your choice; it's a choice of the people.
It's a name given by the people.
Okay, it seems you are already loved by the people.
I would say we thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And perhaps you've already covered what I was going to ask next, but then people are going to have that concern. This lady is too young, and why did she choose, for example, a bigger seat?
Yes.
Like.
So let me just start from the beginning. the office of the woman rep is a position that came as a result of affirmative action. Yeah. There are fewer women in parliament, and there's that too general that they're trying to consider. So I am looking to represent the interest of the vulnerable. In this case, we realize that the youths are very vulnerable. I would like to call them, we are an excluded majority. We are so many in this country, but we are left out, we are ignored. Women, on the other hand, are very vulnerable. People living with disabilities are also vulnerable. And the elderly are also very vulnerable in such a case. And this is what the office of the woman representative is supposed to represent. So I did not go to represent a ward because I have different interests. From when I was in campus and doing leadership positions, I always liked representing the vulnerable in our society. So yes, I am young, and I do not think that should be an hindrance to vying for a political seat as high as a woman county representative. If we could just understand the role of the office, then we would not be having people asking such questions.
But you're vying against a very very big names. For example, the incumbent women representative will call herself what you call now Valentine Anyango Otieno.
Yes.
Given now that she has worked with the ODM party, and definitely the very high chances she'll be given that ticket. And of course, I saw one calling herself a professor. And from your introduction, I can draw the fact that you are just a graduate of bachelor's degree.
Yes.
So perhaps, how will this affect your operation?
Well, yes, I understand. You realize that the people I am up against, these professors, doctors, and so forth, these are people who can choose to be what they want any day. Like some people that I'm up against right now, they're working in the county government. They are ministers and so forth.
True.
These are people who can choose, today I want this, I'm gonna get this. I'm going to run for women rep, I'm gonna get this. I want to be a cabinet secretary, I'm gonna get this. Yeah, so that is a very big challenge. But what I am choosing to represent is the people. We are not out in politics because of big names. I think politics is about representing the people. And therefore, with my bachelor's degree, I think that is good enough for my age. If you ask me that question again after 10 or so years, I would be a professor myself. Yes. So this is a generational war. This is not a war of names or big people or the who and who in the country. This is a generational war. The youths of this Kisumu County are looking to be represented, and that is why I think my candidacy is really exciting, because we are choosing to represent us ourselves. We are not just complaining at we are having bad governance without doing anything about it. We are complaining and we have the solutions, and we are therefore standing up for ourselves. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to ask a bit of a personal question. You've been on the ground for the past, like, can I say 6 months? For the past 6 months, and definitely there are changes that this has brought in your life. So you can comment about how this has affected your personal life and how you relate with other people, perhaps also shed light on your relationship.
Yes. Okay. Yes. The position as it is, we've been on the ground. We are trying, to move around. But I am a girl who has grown up in Kisumu County, and I am a person who has grown up in, so much troubles and problems. Yeah, I was born in Nyawita, that is in Kanyakwar, and you realize that this is a slum. Yes. So there has been a lot of challenges, especially people would meet me so many times and ask for photos. Of course, I still would like to eat utura like I usually do, and I still do that. I just want people to know that this thing should not change you, who you are. Today, I went to Nyalenda and I went with my spouse. He was going to shave his hair. So that is where we usually go. And the Kinyozi man there, my very good friend Otieno told me that, if you win this, do not forget us. Do not start going to big Kinyozis and so forth. Yeah, I told him that this is not going to change anything. I am someone who has been through so much trouble. I grew up an orphan. I grew up with a single mother. And it's not going to change who I am at all. I am still very free with people. I still go and eat my mtura wherever. And the challenges that I'm getting right now is just people saying you're young, you're young, you're young. But the positive impact that we are getting also is that they are agreeing to give a young person a chance.
Out of context, your face has been all around the cameras and everything. And I know boys are drooling about you, definitely. Some of them I know will be saying this girl is very beautiful and outgoing and everything. So you've summarized it that you are already a married lady.
Yes,
okay.
I am married to a very lovely gentleman.
Okay.
Yes.
Perhaps we'll get to know him later.
Of course.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I know the political spectrum, it comes with a lot of challenges. And perhaps you'd want to highlight for us on camera some of the challenges you've faced so far, especially now that you are a first-timer in national politics. I understand you had past leadership experiences, but national politics, this is your first time, right? So perhaps you can highlight some of the challenges and how you are soaring through so that we can understand how this spectrum goes for first-timers in politics.
The biggest challenge that we have right now is the handout mentality that we have, and I cannot blame anyone, especially a youth or anyone for that matter, to ask for handouts. Because we are living from hand to mouth. People are struggling out here, and the moment you see a politician, you see money, and because most people believe that these politicians are not making enough impacts in our lives, things that we can point out that this is what this politician has done for me. So people tend to just ask for handouts. Mtu atakwambia nipatie 200, nipatie 100, and it's all over. So that is one of the biggest challenges. And as it is, I am a youth. My financial strength is not as good as my opponents. And this is a very big challenge. This is why you will find that most people who are elected and end up in parliament, you'd find that a few of them, very few of them, are young people. So young people do not have the political space that their opponents have. Young people, we are jobless. I have not even gotten my first job. I just graduated sijaandikwa bado, which we know is going to take a lot of time before that happens. So the biggest challenge are financial strains and the handout mentality. And I would just like to urge people that do not let 200 bob that a politician is going to give you today affect your whole future, because that is what they do when they get into office, try to pay back that money. Yes.
Okay. Perhaps you've not shed light how you are managing that challenge, because definitely for you to maintain consecutive 6 months on the field, it means you're managing the problem in a very admirable way. Because it's difficult to not give people money and maintain relevance, especially in the contemporary world where money does the talking. So perhaps how are you managing this challenge of financial resource?
Whenever I go out, I like educating the people on their civic rights. I like telling them that this is this and this is how it's supposed to be done. So I talk to people very closely and I make sure that they understand. Another thing that I think people do not understand, binadamu ni watu wazuri sana. They actually listen. If you tell them that I want to represent you in parliament, and of course they will ask for money and all of that, then you tell them that this is the plan that I have for this county. This is what I want to do to you. So just give me this opportunity and let me do my work, which is going to be very beneficial to our lives. So I like encouraging people and removing that handout mentality from their mind. Another thing, of course, it's not just handouts that is needed in politics. We have some other financial things like I need fuel to move around, I'll need banners and so forth. That is why it is one of also the biggest challenges.
Perhaps you can, what loopholes or what gray areas are you looking into as you go to vie for this position? Because already there is a women representative. Perhaps some areas that she has failed in that you want to point out and that you want to correct.
Yes, actually the incumbent has done a very good job. Honorable Rosa has built market dens in in Nyakach, in Seme. I've seen like 4 of them. She's built marketplaces for our mothers who are selling fish. Now that is a very good thing because it saves them from jua kali and all of that. What I would like to do when I get into this office, I want to bring fridge and coolers to extend the market life of fish.
Okay.
Because unapata fish ni kitu inaharibika haraka. Yes, and people end up making a lot of losses because they end up not selling all the fish that they have because for one reason or another zimeharibika. For example, me personally, after my father died, my mother tried the the fish business. Na unapata kama alinunua fish at 3,000, she's just sold half of them. These are the half zinaribika. Zikiaribika, you can't even eat it yourself. And that is a big loss that cannot be managed. I therefore want to bring coolers and fridges that is going to help extend the market life of fish for our women at the beaches.
So in short, you don't have a problem with the current woman representative?
Not at all. I am just saying that she would have done better because the money that gets into the office of the woman rep, the GAF money, is very little. It cannot really do much. If we have approximately 49 million every year, haiwezi fanya kitu. And therefore, me personally, I want to be able to mobilize resources from other organizations to add into the one that we have so that we are able to help people. When you are in the office of the woman rep, you have power. You can knock on a door on ata MP wa Kirinyaga huko, you can knock on their door and ask them, my people are having this problem, help me in whatever way that you can. That is what I want to do. I want to be able to mobilize resources and to be able to support the GAF money because it is too little to even do much.
Okay, thank you very much. As we wrap up, in politics there is always 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, you win. Scenario 2, you lose. So I'd like you to, in just 1 minute each or 30 seconds each, I'd like you to take me through scenario 1, when you win. Take me through your first 100 days, which is always the standard way of gauging a leader's capability.
Yes. I have very many plans for the people of Kisumu County, and these plans are targeting different groups. We have the youths, we have the elderly, we have the women, and they're also touching different sub-counties in different ways, because your problem might not be my problem. Your problem might need a different solution from my own problem. The first thing that I want to do is bring up business incubation centers. Business incubation centers are going to help the youth or anyone who has business idea. It is going to create an enabling environment for the youths and for those who are dealing in business, so that you are trained on how to manage a business and how to come up with funds for it, so that after you are trained, you can even be helped by being given fund or a space environment to start that particular business. That is one of the things that I have that is going to help us alleviate the problem of unemployment. Another plan that I have for our mothers, especially single mothers, I'm coming up with nursing childcare centers. This is going to help single mothers who have to hustle and they have children. Hawa watoto wataka hapo, they are being nursed and taken care of with professionals and being, taught basic life skills for a young person as the mothers hustle, for the food and all of that. I also have a plan for our mothers who deal in small businesses. We call it Mama Mboga Prosperity Credit. Now, this is where kama uko kwa sokoni and you do not have enough money to, start a business or enough money to ensure that the capital iko sawa. This is where you can borrow, even between 5K to 500,000. You borrow money from this fund, then you start your business or you improve your business, and make sure that you unalipa hii pesa without interest at all.
Okay.
Now the reason why you have to pay back is for it to be sustainable, so that ikikusaidia leo, kesho usaidie mtu mwingine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is Mama Mboga Prosperity Fund that I have for our mothers. I'm also looking to improve, we are touching the shores of Lake Victoria. I want to improve that. I want us to start using modern fish, fish farming technologies, so that we can increase the input and the produce of fish.
Okay.
You realize that right now we are exporting fish from China. It's not a very good thing. We should be the one giving this country fish out there. So we are going to come up with modern fish farming technologies to help us improve the production of fish in our lakes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So take me through scenario 2, in case you lose. What will you be doing to build up on your leadership mileage as a way, perhaps if you have, perhaps if you lose today, you'll plan to vie in the future general elections. What will you be doing to build up on that?
The thing is, you don't really have to win to be able to create an impact in your society. Though if we win, then we have the influence needed to mobilize and lobby for resources from other organizations. Now, in the case that I lose, even though I'm telling you that we are not going to lose, in the case that I lose, I am going to work with whoever wins to make sure that the interest of the youth and the interest of the people of Kisumu County are still, are still represented.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And my questions for you today are exhausted.
Okay.
And perhaps I'll ask you for one last time what you're going to, what you can tell residents of Kisumu County in as regard to the next general elections is concerned, and perhaps what you can say to young aspirants like you in regards to what leadership is about and what the next general election.
Yes. Okay. First of all, this is a time where we are trying to mobilize people to register as voters. And I would like to call out on all the people of Kisumu County. I would like to remind you that your vote counts. Your voice is that vote. Most of the time we don't get to make political decisions for our lives. But I want the people of Kisumu County to know that if we vote and put in leaders who have our interests in their heart, then we are going to really do well as a country. Another thing that we have to do is we have to register as voters and make sure that this 2022 we put in Raila Amolo Odinga as the president of this country. We know that this is a man that has really sacrificed a lot in his life to put this country to where it is today. We know that this is a man that has several good plans for the youths and for the people of Kenya. We know that this is a man that if we give him the mantle of leadership, then he's going to do so much, because we have seen what he's done. So I am urging all the people of Kisumu County to come out and register as voters. Put Baba in office, put a girl Toto in office. I think if we do that, we are going to really go somewhere as a country. Now, another thing that people have to know is that we are the people giving these leaders the mandate to lead us. Now, let us try to choose leaders not because of their names, not because of the cars that they are driving, not because of the positions that they hold, but because of the plans and the interests that they have for the people. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that powerful, performance. And I am so humbled that you created some time to attend our show. And of course, I want to say thank you very much to our viewers. We've come to the end of our show. And as you can see, the lady is here, the leader is here. She has a lot in store for Kisumu County. And as you can see from her confidence, I can tell she's there to give her competitors a run for their money. Until another time, I'm Clifford Dima, and this is The Critical Eye.